I'm sitting here with Amar from theHuh Mongol. How's it going, Amar?
Pretty good, how are you?
I'm doing good. You're a musician. You were based out of San Francisco. Are you still based out of San Francisco?
No, I recently moved to Utah.
To Utah?
Yeah.
Awesome. So how did you become a musician? How did you get into music? Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, music was always my passion, as for millions and millions of little kids. So my interest in music started when I was about 6 or 7 years old, I think. And as you know, Mongolia, where I'm from, used to be a communist country. So everything but the socialist communist countries' music was closed for us. So we had no idea about anything about the Western rock music, anything like that. So when I was a teenager, we transitioned into democracy, and all of the West just opened up for us. Yeah? And all of these great American bands, British bands, I get to be familiar with, and that's basically how my interest in music started. And I picked up the guitar at age 12. My first guitar, my dad bought my first guitar. My second guitar, my mom got my second guitar. So all of a sudden, I had two guitars. And that's how I started learning the guitar, and my interest went with it.
That's awesome. So how old were you when you came to the US, and how did you make your way here?
I came to the United States, I think I was 23. And I came here as a part of a big touring group of Mongolian artists. And that's how I ended up. Well, we first flew to Chicago and did our performance in Chicago. And after that, I moved to San Francisco.
So did theHuh Mongol start here, or did that start in Mongolia?
The Mongol Band, I started in San Francisco. But I used to be in a band called Adzim in Mongolia, which is a pretty famous band back home. And that's how I ended up in America in the first place. But after I moved here, the first few years, of course, I didn't do any music because America was a whole new environment for me. So I had to settle here first, and get a job, whatnot. And after that, since there were a big amount of Mongolian people here in the United States already, and there were no bands or no musicians to serve them Mongolian music and Mongolian culture. So that's how the idea of starting my band started.
And then what does the name theHuh Mongol mean? Where'd that come from?
TheHuh Mongol means, well, Mongol obviously means Mongol, but theHuh in Mongolian language means blue. So Mongolian people, we worship the blue sky, and the blue heavens above. And the word color blue is sacred to us. So that's why I've decided to name my band theHuh Mongol. I could have named it anything, since I lived in America. I could have given it some cool American rock name or whatever, but, deep in my heart, I'm a patriot, and I want the Mongolian population in America to remember where they come from. So that's the reasoning behind the name theHuh Mongol.
I love that. So what was your first impression of America and just the music scene in America once you got here?
Well, growing up in Mongolia and listening to American bands and American music, American movies, actually me coming to America in person was like a dream come true for any youngster. Even today, America is land of dreams, as they say. So of course, I learned a lot from American bands just by listening to them. So there's a huge difference in Mongolian entertainment business and the US entertainment business, because in the United States, music industry turned into a business model almost 100 years ago. In Mongolia, it's just starting since 1991, since we transitioned into democracy. So we're still new, we're still learning. But I'm pretty sure, I believe that Mongolian music industry is going into the right direction.
Great. How would you describe your music style?
It's It's a good question. A lot of people ask me, and sometimes I don't have an answer for it. I just ask those people to listen to my music and tell me what they think. But I like these three really big genres of music: heavy metal, classic rock, and new wave. So I think my music, what I create, is maybe a mix of classic rock, heavy metal, and new wave. So there was a time period where I called my music pop metal. So
I like that.
yeah.
Do you have certain things that or themes that you stick to, or what are your songs mainly about?
Yeah, my songwriting, I think, it consists of two really different phases. Because when I was first starting out in Mongolia with my friends as a band, to tell you the truth, our first few songs were these love songs just to impress girls, right? We were teenagers, so that's what we were into. But immigrating to America has broadened my view of life and changed my perspective on life a lot. I started thinking differently. Let's say I matured a little bit, right? So since I came to America, most of my songs, of course, the love theme is always there. Love for your partner, for your parents, mainly love for your motherland, for your country, for your countrymen. And that's the main reasoning behind the California Dreaming album and the Black and White album was it was aimed towards the Mongolian immigrants in America. So through those songs, I just wanted to send these people a message that, you know, we should always remember where we came from, our tradition, our culture, no matter where in this world we roam.
Great.
So that's the main reasoning behind my songs.
I like that. Who produced your previous albums and music videos?
Our very first album, California Dreaming, was recorded and produced in San Francisco, produced by Got My Groove Productions, and it was recorded at a famous San Francisco studio called Fault Line Studios. The second album, Black and White, was recorded and produced in Berkeley, California at Robot NV Studios. And all our music videos that were professionally shot and done in San Francisco are done by my friend called Zochtbayer. He's the owner and operator of the Rise Pictures studio in San Francisco.
Cool. Then what inspires you to keep writing music?
Well, once you're a musician, you're always a musician, right? So even if you're not performing for a few years or not recording songs or not writing new stuff, the idea of writing music is always in your head. And after my move to Utah, I have this opportune time, more free time on my hands, as to speak, to write new music. And I had ideas of these new songs that I've been carrying along for many years after our second album got released. So I'm working on those songs now, and I'm already 3 songs into our new album now. So it'll be probably coming out this summer.
What do you think your best achievement is so far in your career?
The best achievement, I would say, well, also the achievement has to be divided into 2, I think. So in my personal life, I have 3 sons. I have 3 beautiful sons. So, and I raised all 3 of them in San Francisco, California. So that's my best achievement so far in personal life. Music-wise, this is gonna be my only 3rd album in America. So I'll see what happens after this 3rd album, how people receive it. So, and there were some awards and stuff that I received, but I want to stay humble. So
Gotcha.
I don't really like mentioning, oh, I did this, I got this award. So
Right. So it seems like your personal life bleeds a lot into your music, and just your life experience is really what you pull from.
yeah.
Are you religious at all? Do you have a religion in Mongolia that you carried over with you?
In Mongolia, the predominant religion is Tibetan Buddhism, which was instilled into Mongolia, I think, in the 14th or 15th century. Before that, Mongolia was a traditionally shamanist country. Shamanism means there is no certain religion, but we just worship the mother nature, the sky, and the human and the animal life itself. So we worship life. And my parents and my both grandmas, they're Buddhist people. And to follow that route, I'm a Buddhist, I think. But being a Buddhist means just to be compassionate towards others, and to be caring and loving. Being a Buddhist doesn't mean you have to go to a temple or a church and pray every day. So you just have to realize that idea in your everyday life. So that's how I see religion.
Great. And then speaking of nature, I mean, what are your thoughts on Utah since you moved here? And have you been out exploring much in the vastly different areas of nature we have in Utah?
Utah landscape is breathtaking. It's really beautiful. I love these mountains. I love these huge lakes. In fact, these two mountain ranges on both sides of the Utah Valley remind me of where I come from a lot. Because Ulaanbaatar, the capital city of Mongolia, is situated between four mountains. So in the wintertime, we look exactly the same as Salt Lake and Utah Valley.
Oh,
So
that's
I like
awesome.
Utah a lot.
That's great.
Salt Lake and Ulaanbaatar are on the exact same elevation from sea level.
Oh.
So we have exact same weather patterns. So
I didn't know that.
being in Utah also inspired me to write a couple of new songs too.
Oh, great. Can you talk about that a little bit more?
So the songwriting process, let's say, I don't know about the other songwriters, but for me, if I decide to do something, let's say today I want to finish this song. I have to be like in the nature, in a really peaceful environment to do so. And there were a few rough years for my personal life where I was really stressed and depressed, so I couldn't really do any new music at all. But since my move to Utah, I don't know if it's the people I meet here, or if it's the landscape, the nature, or if it's the heavens above that are willing that, now it's the time to do it. So ever since I moved to Utah, I get this inspiration to finish my stuff that I haven't done and start doing new stuff. So it's all going really well now.
That's great. Moving to America, what are some of your views on the politics that we have going on here as opposed to in Mongolia?
I'm a musician, not a politician, right? So what I'm about to say is just my own personal opinion about things. So Mongolia transitioning from socialism, communism into democracy, it was like a newborn baby just left on the street on their own. That's how we felt in our country. So, and our politicians took a lot of an example of the gradual transitioning of the original United States into this worldwide democracy. So basically our democracy is following in America's footsteps when it comes to building a democracy. A lot of mistakes are made in Mongolia, even today, politically. And I really do hope Mongolia will see, better days in the future. Because right now, democracy is not working for our country.
I think it would be hard to make any sort of big change like that.
Yeah, and you asked about American politics too. So I've only been here for 18 years, so who am I to discuss the American politics, right? But all I see and all I feel is just like yourself, everything I watch on TV and everything I read in newspapers. So I don't really have much to say about American politics.
Okay. What other interests and hobbies do you have besides music?
Well, music is my main passion, and I like sports. Mongolia is a traditionally horse racing, wrestling country, so everybody horse raced and wrestled. So I follow the Mongolian wrestling. I follow sumo wrestling. But when it comes to sport, team sports, I like soccer a lot. Well, worldwide it's called football, but here in America we have to say soccer. And my most favorite team is an Italian club called Juventus.
Okay,
I've been following them since the mid-90s.
that's awesome.
Big fan of Juventus.
Cool. And then one last question. If you could change one thing about the world, what would it be?
Well, I wish if I could change everything, I would change people's mindsets, the way they perceive this world. Because right now, today, especially in this democracy or capitalism or whatever you want to call it, people tend to perceive life from a material side a lot. It's almost as if greed, money, and power rule this world. Where the love gone? Where the patriotism gone? Even in America, in Mongolia, there are no patriots left. Where's the honor? Where's the chivalry? Does anyone even know the meaning of these words anymore? That's how I see the world. I don't really want this world to turn into this industry, because life is not about being industrial or being powerful, and everything revolves around money. I really don't want to see the world in this color. So, and the meanings of my songs are on the contrary to what I just said. Meaning of my songs are still about the love for the motherland, love for the parents, love for your children, your partners, your wife, your husband, and loving yourself too, and loving this earth, the Mother Nature. So without love, we're not going anywhere, I think.
I think that's beautiful. So we've been talking with Amar from theHuh Mongol. We wish you luck on your new album and all your songwriting and other life adventures that you have coming ahead of you.
Thank you so much for having me, and best of luck to you as well.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah.